Is it worth getting into classic World of Warcraft? The short answer is yes. The long answer is the rest of the video. World of Warcraft remains the most recognizable MMORPG even till this day. And while WoW has gotten friendlier to newer players as the years have gone on, the game never quite captured the spirit it had when it was breaking records over 10 years ago. But there is a reason why people fell in love with WoW. It is, at the end of the day, a good game. So trying out Classic WoW is the best way to experience the legend that took the world by storm over a decade ago. What does Classic WoW have to offer? Why should you try it? Honestly, the pros of old school WoW really outshine the negatives, the biggest negative being time investment and the biggest pro being social engagement. Like most RPGs, WoW requires some serious time investment to hit max level, but honestly not that much more than a standard RPG. The way WoW works is you make a character and then complete quests in a zone until you reach a high enough level to go to a new zone and do new quests that offer better rewards. Pretty simple stuff, but since WoW is an RPG without cutscenes or anything, the storytelling doesn't follow a singular narrative. Each zone, for the most part, has its own self-contained story, which will, more times than not, end with a dungeon. There are a buttload of dungeons throughout Classic WoW. They require you to team up with a group of 5 players and battle your way through unique areas, and battling bosses for higher quality gear, a ton of XP, and to complete quest chains that usually end up giving both of the former things. It's a tried and tested gameplay loop of leveling your character, getting new spells, getting new ways to customize your new spells, and getting new gear. Eventually, you'll hit the max level of 60 where you can do massive sized dungeons called raids, which instead of having 5 players have 40. Raids don't offer level experience, but they do house the most unique and challenging bosses, the best gear in the game, and are also some of the most fun on the PvP side of World of Warcraft. All of these people working together to tackle a big threat. It's kind of like being on like a sports team. You all work together to win, to clear the raid, and are rewarded with new gear, but there's also a real feeling of accomplishment. Go look up any video of a guild's first clear of a hard boss, like someone's first Ragnaros kill, or someone's first Kael'thas clear. Everyone will be cheering on the mics because it's actually really rewarding beating a difficult encounter for the first time, especially with your friends. And you might be wondering about not having any friends who are going to play Classic, but that's really what made old World of Warcraft so great. It's actually really easy to make friends in the game. There are plenty of difficult quests and rough encounters throughout WoW, and just inviting a person nearby to help you complete a quest leads to grouping, to completing more quests, and then everybody wants to do dungeons, and if you group with some people who are really nice, they'll most likely hit you up when you want to do another dungeon in the future. And before you know it, you have a sizable friends list. You're in a guild and have guild mates, and you're now in a social environment where people are just being people and having fun. Myself and so many others have made lifelong friends just by asking a person nearby if they want to help you tackle a difficult quest. You can just go and watch other Classic WoW videos and you'll hear the same thing. Friends are honestly real easy to make in this game, and you get rewarded by having friends and being nice to people. They help you make items you can't make on your own, help you with group quests, are willing to run dungeons with you, and they're eventually willing to raid with you. And it really is the friends folks made this way that kept people playing WoW for as long as they did. There's also PvP, where you can fight players of the opposing faction or duel players from the same faction. I'm not 100% on whether or not battlegrounds are being implemented in Classic right away, and if you want to avoid PvP entirely, you can just play on a PvE server. Honestly, if you're curious about WoW PvP, I recommend just Googling it. You're gonna get a better idea of what that's like than if I was to try and explain it. The final thing I'll say on my selling pitch for Classic WoW is that Dungeons & Dragons is making a big rise in pop culture. A lot more folks are playing, or at least openly talking about playing D&D. World of Warcraft is very much like the video game version of D&D, especially dungeons, where each class and each specialization of each class gets to shine by using their unique movesets and engaging environments. Like I said earlier, each dungeon does have a story. It has lore and quests and NPCs. So if you want to treat it like a narrative adventure with your friends, if you want to be invested in the story, like the rise of the Defias Brotherhood and stopping the small army they've assembled, or if you want to venture into the necromancer's school of Scholomance and stop the cult operating out of there, and maybe put to rest some of their victims who were tortured to death by the school's students, if you want to be invested in the dungeon stories, you can be. Or if you just want to beat up some monsters with your friends, you can look at it that way too. This game has memorable characters, awesome quest chains, and unforgettable locations. If you've ever gotten to the end of Moradon, you'll never forget what the Princess Chamber looks like. And all I'm saying is try it out. Put a little bit of time into it, try and level a character up till you're high enough to get into a dungeon, try to make a friend or two, because before long, you really won't have to try to do any of that stuff. It'll just naturally happen. The biggest thing about old school WoW is its community aspect, and I'm not even close to being the only person who thinks that. If you're interested in investing some time into a game that can potentially net you a whole host of new friends and experiences, I really do hope that you try out Classic WoW. Thanks for watching, take it easy, and hopefully I'll see you all in Classic.